Now we'll be calling Sheriff McKenzie again out of the Oklahoma Stevens Sheriff's Department. The date today is August the 18th, 2011. Calling now. Hey, what's up? Okay.
Thank you for calling the Stevens County Sheriff's Office. For an emergency or to report a crime, press 2. For the... Please hold while I transfer you. Sheriff's Office, this is Angela.
Hi, Angela. This is Deborah. Just calling you back from earlier. I happened to miss Mr. McKenzie's phone call when he called me. Is he still around?
Hold on just a moment.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sheriff McKinney.
Hi, Sheriff McKinney. My name's Deborah. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Great. Thanks so much for taking the time to call me back. I appreciate that.
Oh, you bet, Deborah.
So I was just calling you to find out what in the world is going on with the media, and how in the world did my description of me and my vehicle, now I'm hearing and I'm reading, is on, what's the BOLO?
Oh, what now?
My vehicle and me, my description, is on your county's BOLO. I just found out that means be on lookout.
Right.
And I'm just trying to understand what's going on, why am I on there, and exactly what kind of...
Was you saying your name was on there?
No, not my name. No, but my car and my description of myself.
With the license plate number of your car on there?
No, sir, it's not.
Okay. Well, Deborah, I am just amazed as you are, because the other night I heard that someone reported that a vehicle had been recovered in Texas.
Right.
Excuse me, allergies are killing me.
I'm sorry.
Had been recovered in Texas, in that it was Charles Dyer's car.
Interesting.
Or a car that Charles Dyer was in. Well, I'll tell you right now, that's totally incorrect. And to be honest with you, Deborah, I went through the damn roof about it.
Okay.
I called the local, our local TV station, and told them that was false. That was a false alarm. There was nothing to it, and they claimed that another agency had said that. Well, it did not come out of my agency. There were several vehicles that, Charles could have been in, And certainly there was a lot of descriptions put out for different vehicles, including his motorcycle. But, Deborah, nobody said you, and I would be very upset if I knew that they did.
Well, I'm just upset because it's not just saying, they didn't say my name specifically, but it stated that I am an active supporter for Charles Dyer for the few videos. Have you ever watched the few videos that I put out for Dyer? I don't know if you've watched.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you, I did not.
That's all right.
And I'll tell you what, Deborah, I never have felt that the militia had a damn thing to do with what we're dealing with Mr. Dyer on. At least from my office, it does not. And I can speak that and feel very honest about it.
Well, this isn't, my videos are not about the militia either. They're not anything about the militia. My 3 videos that this article that, you know, listed me on, and I know it's me because they describe my vehicle to a T, and they describe my description to a T, and I'm the only one that's been supporting Dyer on YouTube and Facebook recently. So it's, you know, they're referring to me, and it concerns me because I also see a couple paragraphs later that Dyer is, according to your office, he's affiliated with some very dangerous militia, Timothy McVeigh. I would like to know what this is concerning me because I don't want to have my name and my vehicle or anything because I don't know where Charles Dyer is. He's not with me.
Let me just tell you this: your vehicle. There's tons of what kind of vehicle you got?
It's just like it says, it's a 2000 silver Yukon Denali.
Do you know how many 2000 or 2001 silver GMC Denali Yukons are in this country?
I firmly agree with you, and I firmly agree with you. But there's not that many 5'8", 39, 120-pound blondes that support Charles Dyer on YouTube and Facebook. That's a whole different...
I got a call from some woman today who said she was a blonde, and her name was Sarah, not Deborah, and she was a supporter of Charles Dyer. Well, that could have been the one. I don't know. Well,
I'm just trying to understand, just because I'm concerned because I know the alert is saying that he's involved with a Timothy McVeigh's militia.
Deborah, let me tell you something about Charles, at least my relationship with him. Obviously, I'm his pursuer right now, so it's going to be a position where he is going to feel that I'm dead against Charles Dyer. I'm not against Charles Dyer. What I'm for right now is to have Charles. He's disappointed me, to be perfectly honest with you. There was some rhetoric that happened back when Amanda had the little issue and the child was involved in that, where Charles said he was sitting at home loading his magazines, waiting for my deputies to show up at his house. Yes, I'm going to take those kind of threats very seriously, as would Charles.
Sure.
But what I'm disappointed in Charles about right now, I gave Charles the benefit of the doubt, sitting in my office. I said, you know, Charles, I obviously feel there's evidence that shows you're guilty, but that doesn't make me a person that hates you. You know, let's go through the system. We had a mistrial last time. Who's to say the next trial wouldn't be a mistrial or an acquittal?
Right.
However it turns out, he has got to face that music, Deborah. He can't run for the rest of his life.
And I'm sure that he is aware of that. I mean, I don't know where his mind is, but we've been following this obviously pretty closely. And
but I want you to hear something from me.
Okay.
Don't believe 90% of the crap you see on the media.
I don't.
I have got right up in front of the TV camera and I said, yes, I think Charles is dangerous. And I think he is right now. He's a desperate man. He feels that he has nowhere to turn, nowhere to go. He feels in his mind that everybody's against him. And that's not true. You know, that is not true. But he is going to have to face this.
Well, how can you say it's... I've got a question. I'm sorry not to be rude, but how can you say that... How can you say that... First of all, thank you for talking to me, because I put myself out there to support this man, and I believe he's absolutely innocent. So, and I believe that this is a lot bigger than just, than the child. I mean, the child, I believe something happened to her, but I do not believe Charles Dyer is the one. He's got a beautiful defense. Everything, if he could only get the chance to present this in the courtroom fairly. And the last trial, sir, did not go fairly. I mean, the DA lied about the DNA evidence. That's what my videos show, is it shows the state's evidence from a forensic scientific laboratory. The warrant that was issued for a DNA test to be done on this man came out in his favor. And so but the DA got in there and flat out lies to the jury and manipulates the entire truth about the evidence of the DNA test. And so that DNA lab report shows that there's no evidence of Charles Dyer's DNA that's connected to either of these supposedly crime scenes that the supposedly alleged rape happened on. It says right there in this report that his DNA does not come up. It's nowhere to be found. But when people like the jury do not know the terms and don't understand science, like most of us don't, they can be misled to believe whatever the DA says. So that's what's very concerning to me. And when I found that state evidence online, I felt like it was very critical to show the public that this supports Charles Dyer, that there's no proof, there's no charge that should even be there, because you cannot tie someone to a crime just by a child's statement. You have to have proof, and the proof that they're using is not even valid. It's a lie.
Well, let me ask you this, Deborah. You know, I sat through a lot of that trial. I'll have to admit I didn't get the opportunity to sit through all of it, but I sat through some of that testimony.
Right.
Why wasn't his attorney refuting that then?
Well, that's because, his attorney, I was told by Mrs. Dyer and by Charles both that his attorney was not working for him. He would ask, why aren't you objecting? And the attorney sat there, and Hammond looked at Charles and said, I don't want to make the judge mad. I don't want to make the DA mad. The jury has the information in their report. So that's how he's basically been holding Charles's hand all the way through. He's not been working for Charles. He's been working against Charles. And that's when Charles wanted to fire him. And then he gets in there to try to fire his attorney, which is our constitutional right, and he's basically threatened and told that if he fires his attorney, they're going to revoke his bond and put him in prison or put him in jail until his trial.
No, I was up there for that. That's not really the way it came down.
Really?
No, what the judge said was that afternoon, I was on a Friday afternoon late. What the judge said was, we have to address two issues here. The one issue is, do you, Mr. Dyer, want to fire your attorney? And Charles kept saying, well, what about the bond thing? Well, this judge is not going to answer him one way or the other until he makes a decision whether or not he wants to keep that attorney or get a new attorney.
Right.
And if Charles would have said, no, the guy's not representing me, I'm not worried about the bond right now, he's just not doing me a job, then the judge, I can't tell you how the judge would have ruled, but, I'm thinking, well, hell, the judge would have said, okay, Mr. Dyer, we'll, get you another attorney, or maybe we'll have to appoint you one. And yes, the bond probably would have been revoked until he got an attorney appointed, or he hired him a new attorney. And then I would say that it would have been reinstated, and he'd have been right back out. That's the system. The judge is not going to rule on two things at one time, and I don't know. The judge may not have even done that, Deborah. I don't have any idea. But it wasn't that, no, I'm going to revoke your bond if you fire your attorney. I can tell you that. I was up there.
Well, didn't the district attorney immediately request for the bond to be revoked, right away?
Yeah, but the judge didn't hear that, and he didn't do it.
Well, yeah, but I wasn't there, so I can't.
That was after they ruled that he wasn't going to fire his attorney.
Right. The poor man. This whole thing has been so squirrely. I feel very bad. It's so squirrely.
The whole thing, the drama. Well, if you know Charles, this has been a very dramatic event.
I don't know him. I never knew him before. I don't really know him now. All I know is that I've been trying to help from a distance because I remembered him from the Oath Keepers, and it's a very reputable organization, and I do believe in him. And so that's when I started following Charles Dyer. And so I was just started following this, and I saw from the very beginning some really dangerous people around this man, and I saw how, from the very beginning, it's just the system has been, in my opinion, working against him. In every area of this, evidence has been suppressed. His attorney's not working. The prosecutor's lying to the jury. He had that one person, thank God, change their mind. But if not, he'd be sitting in prison right now for life. for a life sentence. This man's done nothing. He has no criminal record. He's got a vindictive wife who has a history of being vindictive, and you know, there's so much proof to show motive on her part for why she would do this. There was not even a physical exam done on the child. That my daughter was sexually abused, so I know how a physical exam is supposed to be done on a child for sexual abuse. And you just don't, you know, do a brief 15-second look and then that's it. Oh yeah, she's been abused. No, you have to have a proper examination done by experts, and they insert a camera inside the child's vagina, and they take pictures of the inside of the child, and they look for scar tissue, and they look for the hymen to be broken. And so none of that was done. I mean, so the child hasn't even, and what's even more concerning, sir, is that there's never even been an investigation on Charles's side. Jan Dyer has never been questioned about the supposed rape. One of these rapes supposedly happened at her house. And the girlfriend, Mandy, has never been questioned, and one of these rapes supposedly happened while she was home. And Charles has never even been asked any questions about this alleged rape. So there hasn't even been a fair investigation. So how can this happen like this? I mean, Charles believed in the system to follow their checks and balances, and so he was ready to go in front of his jury and to have them hear his defense, and he hasn't even had a chance to express it. And so...
But Deborah, that's what our court systems are for, and that's what you have an attorney for.
Right.
You know, don't throw all that on me right now.
Well, I'm not. But you're the sheriff, and you have so much power, sir, in your county. You have so much power. It's amazing how many sheriffs out there are not even aware of how much power you guys have for the people. And a long time ago, when our system was first put together, the sheriff's job was to keep the federal government, when they start overstepping their boundaries, to tell them to back up. You have the power, sir. If anything unconstitutional is going on and they're overstepping their boundaries, like I believe that's happening now, you have the power to tell the feds or the government to get out, to back off. You could even tell the governor or even the president, if an unlawful order comes down into your county and you're told to follow an unlawful order, the sheriff has enough power to tell the president to basically, screw you, I'm not following an unlawful order. You're very powerful, and so but you're supposed to be for the people. And so when you see this happening in your county with the court and with the feds, I just would wish that you would help step in and help defend Charles and at least give him a chance, help him get his chance, his rightful chance to defend himself fairly. And this whole entire thing has been a damn circus, and it's really concerning.
Yeah, it's kind of been a circus, Deborah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a lot of outside interference, like with Jim Stack and all these people hyping up this whole idea that he's a militia member and he's dangerous. I mean, all this hype up on purpose to destroy any idea of any possible constitutional...
I will tell you right now that Charles caused a lot of that himself.
Well, you know, I don't really know if he did or didn't, but all I know is whether he's guilty or innocent, the man deserves a fair trial.
I'm on board with you 110%.
You know, so...
100%. I'll tell you, Deborah, I would rather see 5 guilty people walk free than one innocent man go to prison.
Well,
I honestly believe that, and I mean that. And one of the comments that Charles made that I'm disappointed in, too, since we're talking,
right,
is he said, well, hell, I ran because I would have been arrested for arson. Deborah, Charles was never a suspect in that arson. And we did our job. We found who was responsible for that.
What's that all about? What was that all about? And why did she burn his house down?
Well, I'm not going to get into that right now on the phone because it's still an open investigation.
Okay.
But Charles is not a part of that, Deborah.
I mean, try to put yourself in Charles's point. Like, this is what I try to do. Try to put yourself where he's at right now. I mean, if we can, this is what people have got to start doing for each other, have compassion for one another and help. And just imagine if he's innocent, okay, he went through a trial, one person changed their mind on the skin of their teeth, and he got a second chance. And then from that point until now, he has been, you know, Valerie keeps throwing charges. They almost arrest him, I heard, for not paying child support. I mean, the poor man's fixing to go to prison for life, and Valerie's pushing for child support. Doesn't make any sense to me, I'm sorry. Okay, if your daughter was violently raped by the father, you would want nothing from him in support, period. So she's bitching about child support right now, demanding him to go make money when he can't even get a job because of the sexual abuse. I mean, the whole thing is so squirrely. So try to be Charles for a second. What would you do? I mean, the first time around, he almost went to prison for life. I'm not saying that I agree with what he did, but I don't know if I wouldn't do the same thing if I were, I mean, he's innocent. What do you do when you have an innocent person who is completely not being given his fair trial? Well, I mean, the governor, I'm trying to go to the governor to get her to see if she'll listen to this stuff, because I don't know what else to do for him. I mean, it's just, I want him to come home safely, and I want him to, somehow get the message out there to know that it's safe to come out and to face this. But I'm just scared for him.
I will tell you this, that if you have any influence on that man, I do not want anything to happen to anybody, any innocent person, or to Charles. I don't want this to end bad.
Of course not.
I really don't. That's from the bottom of my heart.
Why are the feds involved? Could you just answer that for me, please?
Well, that's normal. When someone runs he doesn't show up to trial, they do what they call a UTAP, and that's called unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. That is normal protocol.
Have you read that law, sir? Have you ever read the federal code? It's Title 18, Part 1, Chapter 49, Section 1073, Subparagraph 1. It says, avoid prosecution or custody after you're confined. It says after confinement. So this doesn't even...
Anytime you're facing charges. Right now, his bond is not any good anymore. They revoked his bond. He is a fugitive.
Well...
The best thing in the world for him to do, and I know he would never listen to me, but the best thing for him to do is come marching right into my office and sit down in my office and turn himself in.
Can you help him? Can you help him possibly get a message out to where we can have a press release or something to where maybe, I don't have any influence on Charles. He barely would even listen to me when I was trying to help him, because he just had heard a lot of bad things about me, and that's neither here nor there now. His mother, I don't even know if she really even cares for me, and that's fine. But if there's any way we can, I'm sure he watches YouTube. I'm sure he's, I'm almost positive he has access to it. He's paying attention somehow. Is there any way we can get a press release for him or something out there to help confirm that nothing would happen to him and he would be treated fairly?
Well, he's not going to believe my word for it. If I give you my word, he's more than welcome to call me personally, and I will do everything I can to help him. I know he feels I double-crossed him on the deal with Amanda, but he doesn't understand I was kind of double-crossed too in that whole situation.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't really understand what that...
Well, we don't want to get into that.
Yeah, probably not.
He'll know.
Right.
I'm not going to let anything happen to Charles. If he's in my custody, there's nothing going to happen to him.
But the feds are now going to be after him, and that's concerning.
The feds are not going to do a damn thing to him if he turns himself into me.
Well, they're saying that he's armed and dangerous, and so if they see him, they're going to probably shoot him.
No. Well, I tell you what, I've said that. Because Charles has himself said that. And what else do you think we can think?
I don't know.
That is what I'm concerned about.
I'm concerned about this whole thing. I just don't want to see a really amazing guy go down the drain for something.
I don't want to see anybody get hurt in this thing, and that includes Charles. He's someone's son. He's someone's father. We don't need this to end in a bad way.
Right. But I mean, you have to admit...
Sooner or later, he's going to be caught, and you know that as well as I do.
Yeah, that's what usually happens, and I just hope that we can help him before it gets to that, I mean, I'm still going to try to do my best to try to help, get support for him and hopefully help turn it around. I mean, one person can't do a whole lot. Everyone's pretty much scattered and are terrified to get in any way publicly involved, and now I see why, because my face and my little videos I put out there now has me on a BOLO watch list, which I think is absolutely insane.
Where did you see that darn thing at?
I saw it's. Let me find it. It's on KO. What's that one news station in Oklahoma?
KOCO.
Yeah.
the ones I had a problem with the other day, and I told them right up front that what they were putting out was unexcusable.
I've been in Destin, Florida. I'm in Florida looking at, and I'm going to make a YouTube video and show everyone that, does this look like Oklahoma to you guys? And I'm showing pine trees, and I'm showing the beautiful Destin water, and I'm going to even show me in a bikini laying on the beach. So to show people that I have not been in Oklahoma. Now, I was in Oklahoma about 6 weeks ago, and I drove out there. I've got some family business that I'm trying to do, and I did want to try to go by the district attorney, and I went into the office and I requested to speak with the district attorney because I wanted to ask him face-to-face questions on how come he lied to the jury and manipulated the evidence that is really in Dyer's favor. That's what I'm hung up on, is this DNA forensic report. I'm hung up on that because that right there shows there's nothing to tie. It's called I even went on the Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation's website, and there's even a free online training, and it's supposed to only be for, prosecutors and judges and counselors, but I went ahead and it was free, so I signed up for the little training, and it took me through the step-by-step process on DNA forensic evidence and how it's supposed to be presented in court, how you investigate it, the entire A to Z tutorial on it. So I have a pretty good little background now of information on how it's supposed to be done, and they did not follow their own guidelines during his trial. So I wanted to go and talk to this man face to face. So that's when I was in Oklahoma. But that was 6 weeks, 2 months before this damn trial date was missed. So I don't know if that's the problem, because I maybe pissed the DA off a little bit because I wanted to talk to him. He refused to speak with me, and but anyhow, that's when I was in Oklahoma. So I was just trying to help, and I just was trying to gather information to show and to just get an explanation. I mean, why? Why did he lie to the jury? Why did they say that there's a possible second rape victim when that was the bullet statement, the bombshell statement right before the whole thing ended was that damn statement that was a total manipulation of information, and this is a man's life we're talking about, and then his attorney says no further questions, Your Honor, and that's how the whole thing ended. So that was complete manipulation.
That's amazing.
What?
That no further question thing.
So you were there, you saw that, right?
I didn't get to see that part. I wish I had.
Can you believe that? I mean, so why is your district attorney in your county over there lying to the jury? What do you do? I mean, what do you do? And the DNA evidence is showing he's innocent, showing he's not. There's nothing. This whole thing should be dropped. There's nothing to have charges placed on this man. And the state even ordered it themselves to have this. It was a warrant issued, and no one's doing anything about it. They're suppressing the evidence. To me, that's very, very suspicious.
But Deborah, nothing is going to change as long as Charles is technically a fugitive.
I understand.
It's just going to make the situation worse.
Well, the only thing I can think of is to go up the totem pole here, the chain of command, and hopefully get some help, because this county does not seem to be following the right protocol. I'm not saying you, but your county is not. What do you do when your courtroom is completely corrupt? What do you do?
Well, let me do this, and I will do this. I'll go talk to some people. I'll go talk to the DA, and I'll go see what I can find out. Find out what's going on. Because once we complete our investigation, it goes to the DA's office, and it's up to him to do the follow-up. I will do that for you.
Why don't we have another investigation on the way this entire system, this whole thing from A to Z has been handled?
Well, I don't know if I investigate the whole damn system right now. The big thing is Charles right now.
Well, and Charles's mom put I think I haven't read it yet, but she told me she was going to do this. She put I think it was 3 pages of everything that's gone wrong in this whole thing, and I believe she's actually publishing it online. And I'm so glad to hear her doing that. And the only way to stop this kind of stuff, this sounds to me like it's the good old boys club in this part of Oklahoma. Not saying you, because you have a lot of power, Sheriff. You do. You have more power than the president. If you wanted to step up and really be for the people and help this. I mean, if you want to help Charles Dyer at least get a fair trial, like you said a little while ago, then look at that DNA evidence. Have you looked at that report yet?
No, I'm not.
Read it. Just read it.
Yeah, it's all in the...
Read it. Just read it. It's right there. It's available. I found that damn thing on photo book, whatever, and I threw it out there. And that is the evidence that shows his DNA was not found. They exclude him from that entire report. And when they're talking about, I forget the name of this one DNA, it's your skin DNA, they're not talking about sperm DNA, they're talking about skin cells.
Yeah.
So anyone that's...
I remember something about that.
Yeah, anyone that sits on a bed or anywhere, if you're in your car, your skin is shedding. So everyone's DNA of skin is going to be found wherever, that's normal. So that's the type of information that was not given to the jury, and it was manipulated by the prosecutor side. And it's just, and I took the training lesson, so I can say this. I went online and I learned for myself how this is supposed to be handled, and they have not followed their own protocol. And that's corruption in my mind, completely. They want this guy for some reason.
Do you mind giving me your number where I can call you back?
I don't mind at all.
I'm gonna call the DA, but I want you to make sure you get word to Charles that he's not making this thing any better for himself right now. That he is not going to be charged with this arson. We have just about got that case cleared totally up, and he's not a part of that. He's not a focus of that.
I'm going to do a video tonight, and I'll say that online on a video for him. I don't have any way of contacting him. I wish I did.
Just put that on the video that the sheriff says that he is not a focus of the arson.
Okay, I'll do that. What about helping him to get a fair trial?
I will do everything in my power, and I promise you that.
Will you promise me to read the DNA report?
I will read the DNA report.
Thank you. I cannot believe you have... Shame on you for not reading it yet. I mean, really.
Well, a lot of times I don't have privy to that information, and once it gets to another office, it becomes evidence, and they don't like a lot of people tampering with things. That's one thing.
I want your email address, sir. I would like your email address because you have all the power. I'm telling you. The sheriff is a very powerful... You could oversee... If there's someone in your community who's not being treated fairly... You can walk in. You have so much power, sir, as a sheriff. Remember Gunsmoke, that show, how he would walk around? What was the actor's name? What was his name? Yes. That's the way it used to be. Everyone loved the sheriff. He was there for the people, and he had the power. And that still that's never gone away. So, anyhow, if I give you my phone number, I would like to have your email address, and I would like to share some information.
I'll do that.
All right.
My extension to my office, and that way you don't have to go through my secretary or anything.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm ready.
My extension is 110. So dial at 580-255-3131, extension 110 as soon as the recording comes on. And I have a voicemail. If I'm not here, leave me a voicemail message, and I will get back with you.
Thank you, sir. And my email address is very easy to remember. I'm sorry, let me get your email address. That's right.
It's w.McKinney, McKinney, at Stevens, Stephenes, County, COUNTY, SO.com.
SO? Okay.
SO, yeah.
Southern Oklahoma?
Yes, it is.
Okay, .com. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time, sir. I appreciate you.
Let me have your phone number, because I have a phone call you,
So you don't have caller ID on your end? That's a sheriff's office?
No, I don't have caller ID.
All right. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, it's 832.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's a new number. 245.
Okay.
2018.
Okay. All right, Deborah. I did enjoy talking to you.
Thank you, sir.
My whole thing is I want this to end peacefully with Charles.
Well,
he needs to be in court, and it doesn't need to be in with someone getting hurt.
Of course not. I believe that's what we all want for Charles. So.
All right, Deborah.
Thank you, sir.
Take care.
And I'm going to be waiting for your phone call back. So I hope you keep your word.
I will keep my word.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.